It's Lynda Lippin, and I'm going to talk to you today about some extension exercises, exercises that you're going to do prone on the mat. And just so you know, the reason why trainers encourage their clients to do extension exercises is because the back extensors are the muscles that help us stand up. I think over the past 20 years, people got really into working their abs and working their core and kind of bringing everything into the middle of their bodies. And what we started to see was actually an increase in people's back pain. The reason for that being that if you don't do anything to strengthen the muscles in your back, they're going to get weak. And if the muscles in your front get really strong and the muscles in your back are weak, then you're putting yourself at serious risk of injury. So people tend not to like to do extension exercises. They're not as much fun, they're not as comfortable, but they're really crucially important. Also for our hip extensors, these are the muscles in our butt that help us to stand up, to walk, to climb stairs, to swim. Basically, we need the back extensor muscles to do just about everything we have to do in our lives other than sit, slump, and lie down on our backs. So that said, I'm going to have you and me get on our stomach, and we're going to talk a little bit about extension. Now, extension is automatically a little bit harder because you're on your stomach. If you tend to only belly breathe, you have no place to breathe when you're in this position, so it can feel extraordinarily uncomfortable. Also, if you sit at a computer all day and you're really tight in the front of your body, it's also not comfortable to lie on the front of your body. However, it is important to be able to get into this position and to move in it, again, for the health of your back and your body. So the first thing you're going to do is come onto the stomach. You're going to rest your forehead on your hands so that you have some nose clearance. And you're going to breathe. Literally, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your nose or your mouth while you're here. And as you breathe, I want you to focus as much as you can on getting air into the side and back of the rib cage, from the bottom of your neck, your shoulder blades, down to your waistline. The ribs will move to the side, they'll move up to the back, the vertebrae will get some space between them, and that's again a primary function of the core musculature is to allow those ribs to move so that you can get air in and out of your lungs. So while you're there breathing, you're also going to think about pulling your abdominal muscles in and up a little bit. Not so much that you're flattening your lower back, but enough to give you some support. So what I'd like to see is this, a little bit of abdominal work, a little bit of heaviness in the hips so that the butt starts to activate, not jamming the pubic bone down and flattening out the back. This is wrong. This is shortening way too much. You want to keep your length, but with some support. So you're going to squeeze the butt a little bit. You're going to keep the hips and the pubic bones heavy into the floor. And we're just going to start with some simple prone hip extension. So you're keeping the knees as straight as you can, actively pulling up through the front of your thigh, pushing back through your heel to lift your legs. Try to keep your legs close together. If you tend to be tight in the side and the outside of your leg and your hip, that's going to be difficult. Use the inner thighs. And just practice this, just keeping those knees straight. What most people do, because we sit all day, is when you go to extend your hip, we tend to bend our knees like this because the hamstring pulls. So you have to actively pull up through the muscles in the front of your leg to lengthen those hamstrings and calf muscles. And you're going to come down. Now you can play with this in a single alternating leg scenario, but make sure that when one leg comes down, you don't completely relax your butt on that side. One side works to support as the other side is moving. To this, I would also add having you do a hip extension with a bent knee in order to get some length, real length in your hip flexors. It's like bridging in the opposite relationship to gravity. So here you bend your knees to 90 degrees. If you're like most of us, your hip flexors are a little tight and your hips are going to want to come up when you're in this position. I encourage you here to try to pull your abdominal muscles in, get those hip bones and pubic bones down, and try to lengthen some space in between your hip bone and the top of your thigh right through here. Keeping that position, you're going to push those hips down and you're going to try to lift and lengthen those knees up. Now, again, I'm looking for a small lift of the legs. I'm looking that the knees don't splay out to the side, which they will if you're very tight. I'm also not looking for incredible height. Because if you go for incredible height here, you're going to go compressing right into your lower back. And I can show you for a moment what that would look like. You would come up, you would keep going, and now I'm not even in my extensors, I'm just crunching literally into my back. You can play with single leg kicking, play with double leg, play with extension with the bent knee, hip extension with the straight knee. Okay? Then, and anytime you need to as you're doing this, you can always push yourself back into just a little bit of child's pose and let the lower back stretch. So you're going to come out again, and this time we're going to fix the legs and extend the upper back. So I'm going to have you bring your hands down by your sides with your palms down. And again, you're going to be very active in the legs like you're standing. Hips and pubic bones pressing into the floor a little bit. Abdominals in, glutes working a little. You're going to reach the shoulders away from your ears. And you're going to lift up your head, keeping your neck long so you're not here and you're not here. And you're going to lift your breastbone up, squeeze your shoulder blades back, and lift your arms. You're going to keep those abdominals in, keep lengthening through that spine, and come back down. Again, it's a smaller movement. It's not so much about height, but length. And again, you're lengthening those legs, you're active. Lengthen the hips, you squeeze the butt, the belly pulls in, head and chest, shoulder blades and arms. So again, you're trying not to round the shoulders forward and lift your arms up this way, which is a common fault that I see in this exercise. You're trying to keep them down and wide and come back down. Now, you can take this position, you can move it to arms out to the side. Again, keeping the palms down, doing that same kind of letter T. You can add arm pulls here, keeping the arms straight and the palms down, really working through the back of the arm and the shoulder blade. And then you can bring your arms forward. I suggest, if you're very tight in the shoulders, that when you bring the arms forward, you actually turn your palms in a little bit. So you're in a little bit of external rotation of the shoulder. And from here, you're going to do the same thing, the head and chest, the shoulder blades and the arms. And you come down. Now, you can add what we call a Superman pose to this. Lifting the legs and the arms and the upper body at the same time, maintaining length. To this, in Pilates, we can add swimming, opposite arm and leg lift. We can add swan dive, rocking. So there's many places where these movements can go. But the importance is that you start to wake up those lower back muscles, those butt muscles. You start getting some length into your hip flexors, length into the thoracic spine and the neck, and just start to work into those back positions. In the next few videos that I do, I'm going to take you then into some quadruped work on all fours, into some planking, into some side planking, which is all going to work with these spine extensor muscles. So, again, I'm a fitness professional. I am not a medical professional. If you're having severe back pain or any issues in your body that you're not sure about, you need to see your doctor to be cleared before you start an exercise program. Please visit me on the web, lindalippin.com, and I look forward to seeing you again, and have a great day.